spoken that they will not allow entry of Meghalaya registered vehicles in Assam.
This is precisely what I have forwarded in the past, that every action always has a reaction to it. And we live in a world where we are mutually dependent. We cannot isolate ourselves, and whatever we do has to pass through the test of logic and the law. We have been engaging in discussions with these stakeholders, including the transporters associations, and again, we would call for an appeal to them to at least speak to their counterparts in Assam. Now, whenever you have issues which cross the boundaries of Meghalaya and are linked to a neighboring state, it is only considered befitting that you speak to your counterparts. If KSU has any issues in Assam, they speak to the ASU. So likewise, we expect these bodies to also speak to their counterparts. They are in the same business.
Paul, these tourist taxis association from Meghalaya, they have demanded the government to come up with a policy to restrict entry of Assam registered vehicles to tourist spots. But the thing is that, don't you think that it is illegal in the fact that because of the fact that the permit is all India permit? Will it not violate?
You have answered the question yourself. One is they either possess a national permit or at least a permit of 3 states or more. Like in the case of the taxi associations, most of them have either national permits or permits that cover Assam, Meghalaya, and Arunachal Pradesh. 1. 2 is we also have, and as members of the media, I would also encourage you to find out whether these are registered associations with their own office spaces. Do they have office spaces? 3, it is also mandatory for them to register themselves with the transport department. Have they complied with that? Now, before you make demands on the state government, at least comply to a few basic requirements of the law of the land.
Paul, right now what we are saying that from Meghalaya side also it is safe, and from Assam side also. So what is the solution? What do you think as a government? How are you dealing with it?
Well, Cyril is here. Maybe he can highlight a few of these issues before you. But let me state this very clearly. There is a tendency to misguide members of the public that why not we adopt the Sikkim model. Sikkim and Meghalaya, there's a huge difference because Sikkim as a state geographically is an end point. Meghalaya is a transit state, which means that a number of vehicles ply through Meghalaya, and you can, once it's a transit point, it means that it's not necessary for that car to complete its journey within Meghalaya. 2, you also have tourists who travel through the northeast as a circuit, traveling from Kaziranga to Shillong to Suara, and then go to Silchar. So these are travelers who are on transit. 3, this attempt to mislead by saying that tourist taxis are not allowed from outside of Sikkim. You can find out for yourself that a lot of vehicles from West Bengal are in fact taking tourists to Sikkim. So Basil can add, because he has been handling discussions with the organizations.
Will you be calling them for talks?
Sorry?
Will you be calling them for talks?
No, we have had multiple meetings with them, as Honorable Tourism Minister highlighted and correctly pointed out that there are legal implications for everything that we do. Their demands are well known. However, we are looking at solutions which will assist them and give them some practical, solutions in terms of short-term solutions. So one of the grievances they were having is that the fees in the Guwahati airport is quite high for them to avail parking. So we even offered them that if the fees is high, for them to be able to compete with the others through the tourism department, there is a proposal to move a scheme where we can subsidize their parking fees so that Meghalaya taxi, which are registered as ML, can compete with the other counterparts. The other thing we are telling them is to take a long view of things. As you are aware that the Shillong airport is undergoing an expansion. Once that happens, we will have direct air connectivity from Delhi and other important destinations of the country where large-bodied aircraft can land in our own airport, which means that tourists also will hopefully take steps to come directly. Many of them want to come directly to the state. Having said that, we have to understand also that the Northeast is one composite destination. When people come, they don't only want to visit one state, they want to visit multiple states. And it is also a fact that a lot of our Meghalaya vehicles today are taking tourists from Guwahati to Meghalaya and to Arunachal Pradesh also. It's not necessarily only Assam vehicles that are doing that business. Our own Meghalaya operated tours, operators and taxis are also doing this business. They are expanding. In fact, you are aware that the government has given prime tourism vehicles where 50% subsidy is given as for high-end Innova vehicles and other vehicles to our local tour operators and individuals who are entrepreneurs so that they can start this business, understanding that there's a gap in the issue of supply of high-quality vehicles. So these are, the concerns. And obviously, tourism as a sector affects other stakeholders. It is not only the transporters who are stakeholders. There are also stakeholders who are homestay owners, who are hoteliers. They have a say in this. So we are also, cognizant of that fact, and we are telling our taxi associations to also engage with them. In fact, tourist sites are also regulated by the local bodies, local authorities, be it the local societies in certain villages or the village itself, or in some places the CM of that location or the Lyngdoh or the Sardar. So they have their own regulations. So they also have to agree to a system if at all required. So this involves a lot of multiple legal and other consequences. And as Honorable Tourism Minister correctly pointed out, every action has some reaction. We have to take into consideration what the other counterparts in Assam think. So this is something that we are engaging. It's not like we're ignoring the demands. And wherever solutions which are within our jurisdiction are possible, we are hopeful that we can implement them. But this will require further, detailed study and engagement, because this has issues which can, have consequences which might affect us in a much more adverse manner, because people from Meghalaya also go for medical reasons to Guwahati. They go for medical reasons from Guwahati airport or the railway station. There are a lot of our students who go to study outside. So we have to look at all parameters before any decision can be arrived at. And any decision has to be within the confines of law. It has to be legal, most of all, because if we take a decision which is knee-jerk and reactive, it can also be challenged in a court of law. So we have to be mindful of that. It has to be within any permitted act and law. And as Honorable Minister has already pointed out, the permit system, the All India permit, the 3-state permit are the legal frameworks that operate in our country, which govern how transporters and tourist taxis move from one state to the other. So that has to be kept in mind.
Do not forget that you have the advantage of being a local. Once you are a local. What is your problem in connecting with various homestays, resorts, hotels? Talk to them, partner with them, tell them that you have 6 rooms, any points that you have guests, we will bring them to your homestay, and in turn, you engage us to take those tourists around. What is the problem in them doing that? It's the simplest solution I can offer them. You just ferry tourists from Guwahati, either the airport or the train station, have an agreement with the guy who runs a homestay, tell them that you bringing guests, and in turn they will engage the service of that transporter to ferry those tourists in and around Meghalaya. What is the problem in them doing that? Why should government do that for them? Okay.